What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, the brother Robert Mason coming through with donations to the channel via the PayPal. Much respect to you for showing love to Too Raw for TV, one of the OG supporters of this platform. All right, so I don't really talk much about the Diddy situation, but I saw Willie D's video about this, and at first I thought it was an opinion that he was coming to, just analyzing the situation. But then I saw that when I went on X and did some searches, that a reporter fielded a question about Diddy to President Trump. And as we all know, Diddy is fighting for his life right now. As far as his legal situation is concerned, the government is presenting a case that I think is extremely flawed. But the emotions, when it comes to this case, are very, very high. And the vast majority of people in this country, man, I would say minimum 70, 75% are strongly against Diddy, regardless of what is being presented legally. So the country is totally invested in this damn thing, and the government is invested, and the government wants a return on their investment, and they're going to want this man convicted. They want him ruined, his legacy ruined, his lineage ruined, basically. So anyway, a reporter asked Trump whether or not he would consider pardoning Diddy, and this was the exchange.
Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me. Mr. President.
Now, it's been well documented by myself and others that at one point in time, Sean Diddy Combs, formerly known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, whatever, he and President Trump, back when Trump was just a civilian, a very popular civilian, but then at that point in time, he was a darling of the liberal media before he became Republican. I said this before all the time. Trump had always had these accusations of being a bigot or an outright racist. But as I say all the time, it didn't matter when he was a registered Democrat that he was a racist. Just like how when Robert Byrd was the Senate majority leader and a high-ranking senator for so many years when the Democrats controlled Congress, nobody gave a shit that he was a member of the KKK because he was a Democrat. But anyway, the relationship was very strong at one point in time. There's some other things you could read about that I don't want to get into on YouTube as far as their relationship, Trump and Diddy, or some other things. But sometime around, I would say, the Tea Party movement, when Trump began to vocalize criticisms against Barack Obama and accusations about him, as far as him not being an American citizen, that's when I started noticing Diddy becoming more critical of Trump, and I think it probably peaked right around maybe 2016 when Trump ran for president the first time. I think maybe 2016, maybe even 2020. But as you heard there, Trump said that regardless of whether or not someone personally likes him or not, he would consider looking into the situation if he felt that someone was being mistreated. Now, the one thing that I think stands in Diddy's favor here is that from a personal standpoint, Trump knows what it's like for the government to witch hunt somebody. He went through that himself personally. So that's a thing I think that that is in Diddy's favor when it comes to a pardon. And we also have to remember something here, that a presidential pardon only covers federal crimes. So it would cover him as far as anything federal, but if anything were to pop up on a state level, then Diddy would still be vulnerable to certain things, and also civil suits, obviously. But the biggies, the federal stuff, Trump could remove that from Diddy's record, or remove those charges or whatever, pardon him. So I don't know, man. I actually having Trump say that, to put him on record saying that, if I'm Diddy's legal team, I'm smirking right now. I'm smirking because I would play upon that. I would definitely play upon the perception that this is a Banana Republic trial. This thing is unfair. The media has played a role in this, because as we all know, Trump with fake news. And I would go about that angle a lot more, as well as the other stuff, the weak case and et cetera, et cetera. But that's definitely that's very significant that President Trump has said that he would consider pardoning Diddy. That, of course, would be, man, I'm trying to think, would that be the most significant pardon in presidential history? The second most. I think that would be the second most substantial pardon in presidential history, next to Richard Nixon being pardoned by former President Gerald Ford. But it'll definitely be up there. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you something. No matter how you look at it, if Diddy was pardoned by Trump, that'll tell me that Trump really gives no fucks, because I couldn't foresee any situation where Barack Obama was going to pardon Diddy. None. He would not do it. Barack Obama was such a coward. This man would not pardon a Jack Johnson, who obviously was targeted by the government because he was sleeping with white women and flaunted it and dared beat a white champion in Jim Jeffries, although Jim Jeffries had retired undefeated years before he was courted, before he was forced out of retirement in the honor of the white race. But he was targeted by the government on the trumped up charges under the Mann Act, right? Jack Johnson, who even John McCain, who ran against Barack Obama in 2008, John McCain was campaigning for years to have Jack Johnson's record, his conviction expunged and pardoned by the president. Clinton wouldn't do it. George W. Bush wouldn't do it. Barack Obama was too cowardly. The first so-called black president was too cowardly to fucking do it. Jack Johnson had been dead for what, at the time, 60 years, almost 70 years. It took Donald Trump to do it. And I'm not a Trump fan. But it's just whatever, man. That's why I don't have a side in this. I don't have a dog in these fights, man. When I do vote, it's usually third party, or I vote for my fucking self. At the end of the day, man, you know, I don't understand our side's love affair with the Democrats. I've never understood it. You know, I understood it, you know, if this was the 60s into the 80s. But starting with Clinton and the shenanigans they were involved in, what they did, and how they backstabbed us, and we still had this love affair with them. But anyway, I'm getting out of talking about the topic here. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.